What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Sunday evening. So let's get into this Love and Marriage Huntsville recap, stirring the pot over drinks. It picks up right where the last episode left off. So Ken is, thanking everybody, being a little shady and a little messy, throwing shots toward Marquez, saying that he was thanking all the fathers who take care of their children. Marquez came in, the event, letting everybody know that he was the biological father. But unfortunately for him, he left. He's struggling with that. Like he's struggling with the fact that he abandoned his wife and his children when, she lost her mother, her father. I believe it was her sister as well. Um, but anyway, so he, Ken has, the kids and Trisha lined up at the front. Marquez makes his way up to the front. He's like, well, hey, everybody, I'm the father. He has no like self-awareness. Because even after that, he goes on to, he sits at the table with the rest of the cast. And he is, I guess trying to explain his situation. Like, hey, I am triggered. I'm, the biological father, et cetera, et cetera. His son, Xavier, who is, the graduate. So I'm assuming he's, 17, 18. He steps in and he grabs his dad. He's trying to prevent him from embarrassing himself further. And he tells his dad, you need to relax. Like, you don't have to make a huge scene about you being the biological father. Um, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I feel like because I know Marquez he's probably feeling really embarrassed. But the best thing that he can do is, try to be a role model for his children in present day, like not trying to outshine Ken, just do the work and show up every day. That's the best thing that he can do. So Ken, he has a side conversation with Marquez. He asks him to, step to the side. He's trying to explain the situation that he is filling in the gap, essentially, that he left behind. Marquez, for whatever reason, I don't know, whatever trauma he's gone through, but he's missing it. Like he's still somewhere in some kind of delusion where he believes that he can be a parent from Atlanta. I don't know. Um, but Ken is just trying to, tell him, listen, as a man, you need to be present in your children's lives. You need to be there when they need to go to, school, when they have, different extracurricular after school activities, just all the things that parents need to be present for. So then Trish comes and interrupts their conversation. And here's the thing, I feel like Trish is still in love with Marquez. The same thing that she told Melody, where she was making, commentary about Melody would not be as half as upset as she was about going to quote unquote train Martell at their house if she didn't still care. I feel like Trish wouldn't be half as concerned about what is said or, wanting to present these divorce papers at her children's graduation party and make a scene if she was not still in love with this man. I feel like there's a huge part of her, a huge part of her heart that is still with him because they were married. They did have these children together. And listen, Ken, he is a good man for stepping up. He's a good man, Savannah. Okay. Paying all the bills. Like he said, he's trying to hold things down. He's trying to make sure that the household functions. But there is something to be said about Marquez being the father of her, the biological father of her two children and her ex-husband since they were in high school. Like if you've been dating for, someone that long and you help bring children into the world, you're going to have heartstrings attached. So in my opinion, I feel like Trish is still somewhat in love with Marquez. Okay, so the next scene shows Letitia, Trisha, and Kimmy, and they're out to lunch. Now, Tisha, she's like, well, I missed the drama that went on at the graduation party. Can y'all do a do-over? Let me, come and see what was going on. But they're talking about Melody and, her being messy, saying that she knows that Maurice was cheating. She knows that Marcel was cheating. And I don't know if you guys have seen the new video from Martell and Ariane Curry. They have Marcel's alleged mistress spilling all the tea in regards to her and Marcel's Vegas trip, her, meeting Marcel at Credit One, Maurice's business, doing all the things, all the things. um, I'm still debating whether I'm going to make a video about that. I'm not sure that I will, but they made a live, and they have a woman who claims that she had a relationship with Marceau for, approximately a year. So I'll leave it at that. But they're just basically saying that Melody, should have came to them with the allegations of their husbands. I feel like it would be a waste of time. Like Tisha, she strikes me as someone who, even if she knows that Marceau, was cheating on her, she let her husband go to Africa without her for weeks at a time. I believe he was gone for like 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And then Kimmy, she knows the man that she married. I mean, Maurice talks a good game, but in my opinion, he's someone who, if she likes it, I love it. He's nerve-wracking just from watching him on screen. And I don't believe that these women are going to leave either of these men. I feel like, similar to Nell Fletcher, who, said that she was quote unquote, mentoring Melody. Mel was like, who are you mentoring? Like, where's the mentorship? I feel like Mel and Tisha and Kimmy are very old school in their belief system, where they're going to stick by their husbands no matter what. Unfortunately, their husbands know this. And so they use that as an example to do whatever they want in the streets. Unfortunately for Martell, he thought that Melody was the same caliber of woman, excuse me, that Nell Fletcher and Tisha and Kimmy are. He didn't know that he married somebody with a backbone, that she could stand on her own 2 feet, and that she would leave him for dust when he decided to step out on her. Okay, so speaking of Nell and Chris Fletcher, they're fencing, which is really cute. Nell, she said that she's taken fencing lessons. She's taken fencing before, so she beats her husband in the points, in regards to fencing. I love seeing, couples go out and do things. They were dance lessons in the last episode, so I love the fact that they are outside and, having different dating events. And so Nell said that she doesn't really want to celebrate their 30th anniversary because their son Chris is continuously being locked up multiple times, and it's depleted their funds. And so, Nell is like, I don't really have the money. We don't have the money to celebrate the way that I want to celebrate. So I just don't want to celebrate. And Chris is really concerned, and I understand how he feels. I feel like even if they were to just, have something small in their backyard, just with their food, they have the friends and family, whatever, you should still celebrate the fact that they've been together for 30 years. The fact that Nell did not leave his cheating behind, um, you know, it depends on where you stand on it, but I feel like Nell is probably questioning even that, the fact that she chose to stay when she sees Mel, who's doing so well after she left Martell. I feel like that's what's causing her more doubt than anything, because it doesn't take a lot of money for a vow renewal. They, like I said, they could do it easily in their backyard, or have a picnic in the park or whatever. But she said that she doesn't have the money to do it the way that she wants to do it, so she was really upset about that. And child, speaking of being upset, so Trish, she meets Marquez for ice cream. The kids are supposed to be there, but neither of them show up. I think the baby girl, she's not feeling well, and Xavier, he had some other um I don't know, something else to do. Which, to be honest, I don't blame them. If I were them, listen, if I was their age, teenagers are embarrassed by the smallest thing, and this whole situation is embarrassing, especially having it be, on camera in front of the entire world. I would have opted out as well. But Latricia and Marquez are talking. I feel like he doesn't really understand the fact that he left and he abandoned his family when they needed him the most. And I feel like she's trying to convey that to him, the seriousness of that. And I feel like until he really, understands and grasps the seriousness of what it means to have abandoned his family, like no amount of excuses are going to matter. He told her that he's essentially going to move to Huntsville, and she's like, I don't know how he's going to do that, because he's broke. But if he does manage to do that, to split his time between Huntsville and Atlanta, that'll be a good first step. So we're hopeful, right? We're hopeful that Marquez can make that happen, that he can show up for his kids. And I say kids loosely because Xavier's graduating high school. I think he's 18. But the baby girl, she still needs her father. But listen, if he doesn't want Ken to completely step in his shoe, and fill in for that father figure, if he wants to be present in his kid's life, that's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to show up and actually be present. Do the work. Like, don't just talk about it, sir. You need to be about it. Child, and speaking of being about it, so I didn't even mention earlier when, Melody was confronting Maurice at the kids' party about his DUI. She said that it was embarrassing. She lost her grandmother to a drunk driver, essentially because we know now that it was dismissed. But Melody, in my opinion, she was like one of the main characters for this episode, because she was just really confrontational with a lot of people. And I feel like, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like between her and Martell, because their marriage crumbled, they are, and this may be conscious or subconscious, but I feel like they are attacking everyone else's marriage. Like, no marriage is perfect. No relationship is perfect. They're going to have holes. And I feel like they are poking at the vulnerabilities of every marriage that they see. That's just my opinion. So, Kimmy is asking Melody straightforward questions about why, she was attacking Maurice in regards to the lipstick that she said she saw, about the DUI that, he had, all these different things. And Melody is just refusing to answer these direct questions. So in my mind, and what I'm hearing is she doesn't respect Kimmy enough to answer her questions directly. And listen, I don't have an issue with Mel. I think that she's a great, mother and entrepreneur and producer on this show. But I feel like if somebody asks you a question directly, you should value that person enough to give them a direct answer. But if you feel like you're being messy, then that's when you're going to refuse to answer or sidestep that question. So anyway, you guys, let me know your thoughts about the episode, Love and Marriage Huntsville. As you can hear, my voice is going a little bit. So I'm going to go lay down a little bit. But anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.